Hi, and welcome to the Espresso English podcast, where you can improve your English in just a few minutes a day. My name is Shayna, and I'm the teacher at Espresso English. Make sure to visit the website espressoenglish.net, where you can get online courses and ebooks that will help you learn English even faster. Let's get started with today's lesson.
Want to learn all the English verb tenses in less than 10 minutes? That's what you're going to do in this video. I'll teach you the 12 essential verb tenses and when to use them with examples. There is a lot of information in this lesson, so make sure you download the free lesson guide. You can save it, print it out, and there are even places in the guide where you can write your own sentences with each verb tense. Click on the link in the description to get that free download. I'll start with an overview of the verb tenses, and then we'll get into how to use them. Here's an easy way to see each tense. We have past, present, and future, and each of these can be divided into simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. So in the present tense, we have present simple, I speak. Present continuous, I am speaking. Present perfect, I have spoken. And present perfect continuous, I have been speaking. In the past, we have past simple, I spoke. Past continuous, I was speaking. Past perfect, I had spoken. And past perfect continuous, I had been speaking. In the future, we have two ways to say the future simple, I will speak or I'm going to speak. Future continuous, I will be speaking. Future perfect, I will have spoken. And future perfect continuous, I will have been speaking. Again, this chart is in that free PDF download in the video description. But let's see some examples. We'll start with the present simple, which is one of the first verb tenses we learn in English. We use the present simple tense for general facts, like this shirt costs $10. We speak English. And we use it for actions that happen regularly. I take guitar lessons on Wednesday nights. Sarah sometimes eats lunch in her office. Now it's your turn. What is a general fact about yourself or your country? And what is something you do regularly? I'll give you my example. I live in the United States, and I often work at coffee shops. Next, we have present continuous. This is also quite a common verb tense. We use the present continuous for an action that is in progress at the moment. I'm currently studying biology at university. Bill can't talk on the phone right now. He's doing his homework. We're watching TV at the moment. We can also use the present continuous for future plans and arrangements, like I'm having lunch with Jack tomorrow. My sister is driving me to the airport on Saturday. Tim and Joanna are joining us for dinner next week. Again, try it yourself. What's something currently happening and what's something you've got planned in the future? Right now, I'm filming a video for you, and later today, I'm taking my kids to the park. Let's move on to the present perfect, also one of the most common verb tenses in English. We use the present perfect with actions that happened in the past at an unspecified time. For example, I've met several celebrities. He's been to Australia several times. We've already taken the test. Notice, it's unspecified time. I don't say when. And we use the present perfect with actions that began in the past and continue to the present. I've lived in this house for 5 years. Harry's worked at the same company since 1992. We usually use it with the verbs lived and worked. We could also use the present perfect continuous in this case, and we'll see that in the next section. Finally, we use the present perfect with actions that have never happened. I've never broken a bone. She's never bought a car. My parents have never eaten sushi. So we form the present perfect tense by using have or has plus the past participle of the verb. Have or has is known as the auxiliary verb or helping verb to the main verb. Your turn. Try to make an example for each one. I'm going to keep moving in the lesson, but you'll definitely want to download the lesson guide so you can write in your own examples or put them in the comments. Let's go to the present perfect continuous tense. We use this one with actions that began in the past and continue to the present, like I've been thinking a lot about the situation recently. Laura's been studying since 7 a.m. We've been waiting for you to arrive for over an hour. Now let's look at the past tenses, starting with the simple past. We use the simple past in English for events that started and finished in the past. So, I worked as a research assistant from 2001 to 2003. He called me 10 minutes ago. We went to the Bahamas last summer. We often form the past simple by adding ed to the verb for regular verbs. But many common verbs in English are irregular, like the past tense of go is went, not goed. Let's look at the past continuous. We use the past continuous tense in English for events that were in progress in the past, often when another one-time event happened. So, sorry I didn't pick up the phone. I was taking a shower, that's the continuous event, when you called, that's the single event. He was sleeping on the couch, that's the continuous event, it was in progress, when I got home, that's the single event. When I saw Tina and Sam at the park earlier today, saw, that's the single event, they were arguing, that's the continuous event. We form the past continuous by using was or were, plus the ing form of the verb. Next, we've got past perfect. Use the past perfect for past events that happened before other past events. For example, by the time we arrived at the train station, that's one past event, the train had already left. That's the past before the past. When I woke up, again in the past, I saw that my husband had made breakfast. He did that before I woke up. 5 minutes after leaving my house, I realized, that's the past event, I'd forgotten, that happened even before that, to lock the front door. So we form the past perfect by using had and the past participle of the main verb. We often use the short form apostrophe D, like I realized I'd forgotten. I realized I had forgotten. Our final past tense is the past perfect continuous, and we use it for past actions that continued up to another point in the past. Before I lost my job, that's a past point, I had been working on some important project. So working was a continuous action until the point I lost my job. They had been hoping Pat would make a full recovery after the accident, but he died. So hoping was a continuous action until Pat died. She'd already been studying English by herself for several years by the time she started taking classes. So studying by herself was a continuous action until the time when she started classes. We form the past perfect continuous by using had been plus the ing form. And again, we often use apostrophe D, the short form, instead of had. She'd been studying. Now let's look at the future tenses. There are two ways to form the future simple tense in English. We use going to for plans, arrangements, and predictions. After I graduate from college, I'm going to study for a master's degree. We're going to move to a different city next year. I think the current president is going to be reelected. And we use will for promises, offers, predictions, and decisions made in the moment of speaking. So a promise, I'll call you later. An offer, we'll give you a ride home. A prediction, I have a feeling that this new singer will become very popular. And a decision made in the moment, I'll have the spaghetti and a side order of salad. The future simple is a very common verb tense. We use it often. Next, we have future continuous. We use this for actions that will be in progress at a time in the future. For example, don't call me at 6 because I'll be driving home from work. At 10:30 tomorrow morning, we'll be giving a presentation in English class. He'll be watching the football game tonight at 8. To form the future continuous, use will be plus the ing form. Let's move on to future perfect. We use the future perfect for actions that will be completed before a future time. I will have written a book before I'm 40. We're late. By the time we get to the theater, the movie will have started already. We will have traveled to 12 different countries by the year 2035. To form the future perfect, use will have plus the past participle of the main verb. As you can see in the examples, we often use before, by, or by the time with the future perfect tense. And finally, we have the future perfect continuous for actions that will continue up to a future time. By the time she graduates, she will have been studying for 7 years. By 7 p.m., I will have been working on this project for 8 hours straight. By this time next year, they will have been living in Japan for 2 decades. This is honestly one of the least common verb tenses in English, so you actually don't need to worry too much about it, okay? Many English learners have difficulty with verb tenses. They often stop to think, which verb tense should I use? And the rules about tenses can be confusing. But I hope this lesson has helped you understand the differences between English verb tenses. But don't just learn about verb tenses, you also need to practice them. I recommend writing your own example sentence with every verb tense in this lesson. The more example sentences you write, the easier it will be to remember the structure of the verb tenses and when we use each one. So go ahead and download your free lesson guide to fill in your own examples for every verb tense. You can learn about verb tenses in much more detail inside my Advanced English Grammar course. The lessons in that course also include quizzes to help you review and practice the verb tenses. And there's the option to do writing tasks and send them in for feedback and grammar correction from our teaching team. This is very valuable because you can find out if you're making any mistakes with the tenses or using them correctly. Visit my website, espressoenglish.net, to join the Advanced English Grammar course.
If you want more great English lessons, visit espressoenglish.net, where you can sign up by email to receive a free ebook with 500 plus real English phrases. You'll also find online courses to help you improve your English fast, even if you don't have much time to study. Keep practicing your English, and I hope you have a wonderful day.